Welcome, Rick, to the SpeakEasy podcast.
Thank
I
you.
really appreciate you coming on and giving us the time here. Rick is a fantastic human, first of all, but he is someone who mentored me for quite a bit at my last role. He has a ton of engineering experience, a ton of engineering management experience, a ton of product leadership experience, and so I'm extremely honored to have you here. We've had like lots of chats over the years, and they've always been like hour-long chats about AI and like the future and engineering, bureaucracy, and everything. And you've given me a lot of tips and interesting insight into leadership. So I'm stoked to have you here where we can like talk about this on on a show, on a podcast. And so, yeah, thank you, Rick, for joining.
Thanks for that warm and gracious intro. It's always a joy chatting with you, Simon. So this is a pleasure to do. Our chats are I think I get a lot out of them. I'm really glad that you do as well, and it will be an extra beautiful plus if others do as well.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree, and I think we can even use that as a starting point because it's kind of interesting. The idea of like working with your garage door open is something
Hmm.
I read about, and I can't remember who said it, but it was like um, I think it was either like Alex Danko or someone like that. But the idea of you can do a lot of stuff online, but if you do it publicly, you kind of open the door to like more interesting opportunities, more interesting experiences, and you sort of have the whole internet, maybe like pieces of it drop by and take a look at what you're doing. So, yeah, what are
Yeah.
your thoughts on that and like the whole working in public, speaking in public, thought leadership?
No, for sure. I actually took uh, my very first step into this was to build in public, build an audience. It's like did a lot of learning, consumed a lot of information. Uh, the big takeaway is actually building in public is less about trying to build the audience. It really is like you build, and then as a side effect, an audience is created. Yeah, one of my favorite lines is you build the table, and as you're building the table, you're gonna get some sawdust, and that sawdust is what the content actually is. So you share that sawdust, but the bulk of it is creating that table. So the focus is not on the audience; it's more on just your work. And as a byproduct, you share that journey, and it creates an audience. And that audience is like a great feedback for like what you're doing to see if it's like gaining traction on the right track, all of that.
Yeah, exactly. And it's tough. It's like especially if you're not used to doing it. Like what do you
Yeah.
find is challenging about building in public?
Dude, all of it. It's like we build. Yeah, that's why I love that like analogy so much, where it's like it doesn't require a big shift.
Yeah.
It's more transparency than anything else. Of course, like you still need the logistics, creating the content, and there's a lot that goes into that. But the tooling's getting like better every day, so it allows like people who love to build to just build, and then a byproduct is yeah, hopefully the cost is low with good tooling, and the rewards are much higher just from like getting feedback.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. That's like definitely the reason I started this, and I feel like there is such there's going to be like a premium almost on just people like humans doing human things and people enjoying human things. So I figure like the sooner I get started myself, just putting myself out there. And actually, on that note, have you? This is like quite a segue, but have you tried Sora at all?
Yeah, dude, I got an invite to Sora too finally.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I've been using Sora, and like one of the interesting things for me is I don't have my own face on there yet, but I'm going to do it. But I have my brother-in-law, and I love him to bits, and I've made like 100 videos of him just to troll him, and it's like ridiculous stuff of him like riding an ostrich, and then like surfing lava, and then I'll just send them to him, and he's just like, you have too much free time on your hands. But this idea of like, and I was very nervous to use Sora because it's very, it's like the purest AI slop that you can get of like short form video of any kind, and then any particular frame or like context that you like, you now have like 50 that you can swipe through of that exact same thing. And yeah, and what I found was interesting because I was kind of into it for like a week, but I actually enjoyed creating more than consuming with it. And I think, I don't know if that's the default, but I do think AI, like tools like that, actually help the creators, or like people on social media. It kind of gives you a bit more freedom to create if you're like if it's something that is hard for you to do, then just a little prompt that can produce this whole world for you kind of gives you that impetus to get started.
No, for sure. Like that's the beauty of like all these AI tools. It's accessibility to really complex things, right? Like coding. Like coding's not easy, but this made it so much easier to get into, and especially like for the creatives, right? Like I can't draw like Midjourney or create videos like Sora, but now it's like just a prompt. The accessibility is great.
Yeah, and so that kind of like lowers the bar for creatives to make it so like anyone can be creative, and like something that you wouldn't have been able to produce 4 years ago or 3 years ago, but now you have this idea, you turn it into this viral video, that can turn into like a lot of value, and it turns into like income, brand deals, whatever. But it also is just like it actually counterintuitively helps people become more expressive. Maybe on the long tail, like people who are naturally like that like it less, because there's the bar between them and someone who's not actually skilled is like much smaller. But it could counterintuitively like push creativity like way further as humans like really strive for like actual human creativity. So that's like the optimistic take.
I think it's the accurate one. I mean, I'm an optimist by default, though. Like, it's the accessibility. Like, there's all this untapped potential, and just making it, unlocking it, it's a lot of value. That you talked about slop. It's super interesting because like some of these AI tools, depending on how you use it, backing up a little bit, producing and consuming is like a vastly different, opposite ends of the spectrum. But if you use like AI in a certain way, you're actually doing customized consumption without knowing it. You think you're producing, but you're actually just consuming. I'll give you specifics. Like on Midjourney, right? If you it creates amazing pictures, but if you just keep on prompting it and like just like a roulette table, right? You're not improving your skills. You're actually consuming. You're actually creating art at all, because you're not growing. You're not like pushing yourself. So even though you think you're producing something, you're not. Right? It's like you're actually consuming. It's just personalized consumption without you knowing it. So like there's that like slight danger in there. I had to catch myself when I realized, oh wait, I'm not improving my skills. I'm just doing personalized consumption, thinking it's a production.
Yeah, that's a really, really, really good point, because it's true. It like feels like you are producing if you make the first iteration, but then it can be actually like you're consuming, and you're not necessarily it's, I think the point that you made about like you're not improving your skills is a big one. And I always kind of, when I see like prompt influencers, the prompt influencers on LinkedIn, and people like, oh, try Tune, it's like the new JSON and stuff, and it's like interesting because it's a new paradigm. It's like this specific wedge, but it's like, is there really that much value in that space? Like maybe, I don't know. So but I love that idea. And like, where do you find producing is most effective now? Like, what is the most interesting and worthwhile area in a person's life where they should be producing something, content or...
Yeah, it's the beauty of it. Like your primary profession, right? Like we're coders, so producing with AI is amazing for us. You can get into that trap of using it as a roulette where you just keep on prompting until it gets it right. Or since we know like the ecosystem a little better, we can keep on iterating and like really understanding how to work with these tools. So in that case, we are producing with AI. We're not just like using it as a slot reel. But then the more fun stuff is actually doing stuff that was never accessible. It's like music, art, video. Like
Yeah,
that's impossible, or like so much friction to get started. But now like you can ease into it, and if you really love it, right, your knowledge of it starts to grow. So
right.
there's like more gains there just from how low it was before. But yeah, definitely keep on pushing your primary profession.
That's interesting. What is there anything like that that you've found, like music or like Midjourney, that you didn't do before or have skills in that you now are like really into?
Yeah, images for sure. Like I
Okay.
spend so much time just on that. Like I do that even when I'm tired. So I know there's like some natural lean for that.
Okay.
Video and music, not as much. And a funny story, you know George, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the way he was using Suno is completely different from me. For me, I'm
Okay.
like just dice roll. All right, I wanted to talk about this. I wanted to sing the lyrics about this. I want this beat, and I just keep on mixing until I find something that's appealing to me. But for him, he like got into it. He adjusted the lyrics. He worked with the AI to find the best one. He adjusted the beats. He learned about the beats. So that's like he's producing. I'm doing
Right.
like personalized consumption.
That is so interesting. I feel like it's kind of true. Like if there's something that pulls you that you can that pulls you that like you can now learn about,
Mhm.
um, you are basically off to the races. Like you can just go and learn. And like if he didn't, maybe he knew something about music production before, but if not, like the
Mhm.
ability to make these songs and now you sort of have this connection to it. So you're like, okay,
Mhm.
actually that's not quite right. And like, oh, what is that? Like, oh, the beats per minute is like the BPM is something I have to
Mhm.
modify or think something like that. So it's like kind of very interesting that you can use it to drive deeper
Oh yeah,
into these things. That's
yeah.
really cool. Um,
And the most
yeah,
important
sorry.
part is that like that human steering is there.
Yeah.
If you look at the way I was using it, right, there's very few parts of me in there. The initial prompt and that was it because like I
Mm.
didn't enjoy and I wasn't capable of steering it. But for someone who like has an inclination to it, like he didn't know about music, but he did learn a shit ton in
Oh,
like
okay,
in like
cool.
1 month of usage, like not even 1 month, like a week of usage versus me like for months of usage.
Yeah,
So like yeah,
that's
if
so
you're like
cool.
inclined to it, the learning speed is insane now, and you're seeing the results of it. Like
Yeah.
you're working with this like infinite intelligence, helping you, and you're putting your personal aspect into it, the humanity aspect into it.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like finding where that personal aspect slots in is going to
Yeah.
be like really, really important. And I may have told you this story, but like I taught a vibe coding class at network
Okay.
school, and it was so weird. It was so weird
Mhm.
because I've taught like tons of coding classes
Mhm.
and boot camps, and the level of abstraction was just totally different. And I was just giving advice that was like, okay, prompt in this direction, or if it's giving you a lot of the same feedback, like go up a level and try and
Mhm.
approach it from this angle. I was giving instruction on how to prompt, but not on how to code
Mhm.
anymore. And so, like, the level of mastery does actually go into the prompt layer of being able to, like,
Yeah.
how well can you effectively communicate with the machine. And that probably is where, like, a ton of value is going to be driven over the next 5 years, right? It's like if you're
Mhm.
really, really good at prompting your way into an app, or into some service or into some thing that you're interested in, and it's like, there's like a rhythm to you and the
Mhm.
AI, and like you're building and it's productive. you can probably go extremely, extremely far very, very quickly.
Yeah, yeah. I kept on going back and forth on how important it is to like understand the root domain. Like for instance, right? It's like coding. Do we still need to know the details of coding to the level we do, versus really focusing on that collaboration layer with AI, where it knows all the infinitely more about that layer, especially as things get more complex. I think
Hmm.
where I settled is just as time goes by, uh, we are just building on top of like abstraction layers. Like, look,
Hmm.
no one like does machine code anymore, right? It's like it's
Hmm.
been abstracted away, and the languages just get, yeah, it's just gonna be another layer on top. So I think like really understanding like the core principles behind that domain is and how to like work with it is it's probably gonna be a better use of time than going into details that may be abstracted away already.
Yeah, yeah, and I find like, are you writing a lot of code these days?
I'm creating. There's a lot of code being generated, but not. I don't write. I haven't written like not even tab completion. Yeah. So more and
Really?
more is just having peer generation.
Wow. And is this with like Cloud Code or Cursor or?
I like
Okay.
Cursor's interface. I haven't tried their composer, but my main one now is Codex. It jumps around so often.
Okay. Yeah, and for me too, and it really does become like a matter of taste,
Yeah.
where you can kind of feel if it's working or not for you in a particular direction.
Yeah.
And yeah, I use Cursor. It's interesting because there's like there's like your directory tree, and
Mm.
then your coding terminal, and then your your chat input, and
Yeah.
the chat interface just gets bigger and bigger over time,
Yeah.
and the coding gets like less and less important, and you can like literally just see over time how like prompt based conversational coding is overtaking
Mm.
just like looking at what's actually, and it's rare these days that I like look at it and I'm like, oh, you did this wrong, or like
Mm.
you didn't really understand. So it does feel like you can talk your way into something working. I do feel like production code, and especially like a polished app, takes a lot
Mm.
more, like just a lot. There's like a lot of edge cases, a lot of little bugs, a lot of little UI UX things that you need to be like, okay, like move this a little, do this, do that. So it's like paradoxically you're still spending hours coding, but
Yeah.
your rate of like improvement and delivery is extremely high.
Yeah. Did I ever tell you about my short little stint with one of my friend's company? I'm not sure if we dove into that
Uh,
before.
no, but let's chat about
Yeah,
it.
I won't mention the company name, but like one of my friends reached out and he goes, "Hey, help me with this. Just help me with some of these responsibilities at my company." And this company, like they are like a tier one engineering, like one of the most effective engineering team. They build amazing software with a very small team. Yeah, and my agreement was as long as I get to use AI, everything that I'm focusing on, right? And for them, it's like, yeah, like please use AI. Like we want all of that brought in. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had a chance to see where reality and theory differs. So how does it
Mm.
look like to use AI in like a very uh, high performing team that writes really good code? And oh my God, I got obliterated right away. So much reality just like smacked me in my face in very good ways. It's all like learning.
Really?
Yeah.
What in what way?
So high performing code is very curated and crafted. You can't search for information. So this company they use a certain stack where they pushed it to the limit. There's only like one other company that uses this technology that's bigger than them, and these are massive companies.
This
So
is
when
not
you
like
get
an
to that,
AI technology. This is like a just like
yeah,
a
just regular
plugin or
technology.
something, a part like a third party library they use to run their business.
Oh no, it's like a framework. Like say, I
Okay.
didn't want to say the exact name because it gives it away. There's not too many people using that stack, but it would be like
Okay.
say like TypeScript, right?
Okay.
TypeScript at a certain scale, it's gonna encounter certain challenges that you wouldn't encounter when you're smaller. So at
Right.
that level, AI code, you can use AI to code. You can use it for the code generation, but you have to and you should use it for the learning aspect of it. So it's
Right.
almost like you have to use AI to increase your mental model to get you really proficient on how things work, and then anything generated has to go by like a very fine filter and refinement.
Hmm.
It's it's silly because I always thought like AI can do all that. AI can learn better, and the human operator doesn't need to um, know the intimate details of the learning, as long as the AI is learning it. But that's not the case. Like we're not there yet. Yeah, I'm
Right.
sure we'll get there in a few years, though, or not
Yeah,
even a few
it's
years.
yeah, and it does feel like we have already become the bottleneck, like the human in the loop
Yeah.
is the bottleneck, and it's like sure the AI can pump out like billions of lines of code, but a person needs to understand it, like always needs to understand it, and it needs to
Mhm.
run, and it's like it's impossible to just spit out perfect code
Mhm.
all the time. It's like maybe one day it'll be possible, and that would be awesome to see, but it just for whatever reason doesn't actually work like that, and it's very weird that it doesn't work like that because all the problems are basically the same. Like all code is doing very very much the same thing, but especially in domains like you said where it's like more of an edge case, it's hard for it to actually know like what is happening. So a
Yeah.
human needs to be there to like watch it, and then the human it has to go only as fast as like the humans go as well. Which even if
Yeah.
it's extremely fast, it just
Mhm.
if it tips over, then like boom, you're kind of screwed. You're overwhelmed.
Pretty much. Like right now, code is still it's a matter of trust. Like imagine it's
Yeah.
like you have $1 million system. This system alone, like is like in the seven figure range. Someone has to own that.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
right now, like AI can't own these things. It has to be so trivial to a point where it's like, oh yeah, AI can like easily own that. But right now, like if a system breaks, it's always like a human that's in that really needs to own it. And if the human doesn't understand it enough to guide it, then it's super dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these like large systems, if you generate a lot of code and you need to maintain it and refine it, you need to understand it,
Hmm.
and that's where it's like you can't just like fire and forget. For prototypes, it's perfectly fine.
Yeah. And so it's interesting because it sort of leaves us where we started
Mm.
as devs, where it's like 2 years ago, it was like, oh, like, okay, I'm just going to tell it to do all this stuff and sit back
Mm.
and chill. And then it's like, oh, that doesn't work. Oh,
Mm.
like I'm spending a full day coding. It's like, what happened? Like, I'm still spending an entire day. And like, I'm getting a lot more done, but
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, for sure.
also some days fighting one stupid bug all day and just the same as it ever was. And like
Yeah.
to your point, like ownership, like a human has to own um,
Mm.
the end process or even the whole process because especially if it is a process that like goes out and touches the world,
Mm.
then someone needs to be responsible for what that is. And so that person, whatever work is involved for that person, ends up becoming like a full time piece of work.
Yeah. There's no the the craft is still there. Like
Yeah.
the need for the
Thank
human
goodness.
is there. Yeah, I know. Yeah, there was like a definitely like a moment where you go like, how long would this like entire industry, product engineering, last? Right? It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely changed a lot. Like the stuff that we focus on, the
Yeah.
scale of like at the component and even the module level, like we can trust that wholeheartedly. The complexity is not too much. We can create
Hmm.
like great contracts and understand it from that perspective, and that's just gonna get like bigger and bigger. But
Hmm.
just just like understanding how even how the systems interact with each other and really making sure that you can trust it. That's still a person still needs to do that.
Yeah, and there's something to be said about like if it's easier for more people to be building software,
Mm.
then surely that means there's like more innovation, more business.
Yeah.
Um, there's always been like so many people who want to build something, but they can't because they can't find a dev.
Yeah.
And who knows if like 99% of those things are going to work or not, but people want to build things. And now,
Mhm.
like with Lovable and everything, like these companies have insane traction, like insane pull.
Yeah.
People are building the things that they've wanted to build. And what I've really liked about it is like they have their domain expertise,
Mhm.
and now they can apply that to software and they can create that software. So that taste that they
Mhm.
may have for it is like, or within their domain, is now applied to like new software, and then it becomes a case where some of them are successful, and so they need to hire a dev. They will always, like, so far
Mhm.
they're still hiring devs.
Yeah.
And I actually think like there is more opportunity, and like the economy is actually growing from this, and
Yeah.
I
Sure.
don't see it as a case where it's like you don't need to make software because the AI will make the
Mhm.
software and tell you what software to make. Like that has
Mhm.
always just kind of seemed a bit of an absurd proposition to me.
Yeah, that's probably much further down the line. Like things just keep getting more abstract
Yeah.
because like we can just uh, trust the abstraction, but it's right now where we're at. Like the human part is still really valuable.
hmm And like the orchestration, like the whole concept of orchestration
Mhm.
and complexity, like we aren't at the end game of,
Mhm.
you know, corporations or organizations knowing the perfect way to be. I would
Yeah.
say far from it. Um, you know, like governments, bureaucracies, large companies, startups, like it's chaos in all of
Mhm.
these places. And there's lots of stuff to build. Like if you picture a sci-fi future or a sci-fi
Mhm.
utopia, like we're not there, but we now can build things to get there, let's say.
Mhm.
But those things aren't built. So it's like there are things to build, if you know what I mean. Like there's plenty that needs to be built, that needs to exist. Like maybe the perfect collaboration tool
Mhm.
is not Slack. Slack has helped,
Mhm.
but maybe, you know, that's 2 years away, and now like everyone is 100 times more efficient because they now have this like extra tool. What are your thoughts on that?
You touched on like I'm not sure if you were hinting at this, but I'm gonna take us down this path.
Sure.
So I think the last like decade or maybe even two, there's like a lot of wealth and value in soft problems. So when I say
hmm
soft problems, right? Like you mentioned Slack, you mentioned Jira, like those were those were tools and solutions to help us solve actual problems. Yeah, one of my pet peeve is like with all these ability, right? We're still making solving the soft and now easier problems better when like we should solve really hard problems, right?
hmm
Like Elon Musk, right?
Yes.
Like him or hate him, he solves hard problems.
Yeah.
Like right now, it's like take water, take energy, take like housing, right? It's like with all these amazing tools, why are we still trying to make better AI note takers? Right? Like
Yes.
those are soft. Like you don't
Yeah.
even need notes. Like it's not important. Like those were just like relics of. We focus so much on the work around the work. Like the
Yes.
entire VC industry. Like all of a sudden, it's we forget
Yeah.
that. Like
Cluely. The
yeah. Like
the
there's so.
cluelification.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I fully agree, and like I love this topic. This is actually one of my favorite
Mhm.
topics, and we can like
Mhm.
definitely spend a lot of time here. I think
Mhm.
I think there's two sides to it. I think we do need to solve the problem of soft work and orchestration
Mhm.
because that's like a really big thing for getting stuff done. Like people need to
Yeah.
be able to coordinate, and we've had the ability to coordinate, and like in China they have the ability to coordinate really really well to get massive projects done really quickly. But in North America, like not so much, and um, at some companies they do, and at some companies they really don't. And I think like it's not a solved problem. Like Nobody knows
Mhm.
why it works here and doesn't work there. And so I think solving orchestration makes it much easier to solve the hard problems. Because I agree, it's like
Mhm.
we should have energy abundance, and we should have cheap housing, and everything should be like the future should look like the future, as Elon and all those guys say.
Man, you touched on like another like really interesting thing that I went on a deep dive, and you're one of the few people I know who actually like calls out that like China actually does allocation really well. Um,
Yeah, it's sick.
dude, it's so funny because like everyone has this, including me, right? I always thought the way China operated was very centralized, where they just mandate stuff and and then it's a bunch of minions that will make sure it happens. But it's actually closer to the way our VC system works. Though they do essential in terms of identifying like the KPIs, right? They have those 5 year plans. Like, okay, these are things we have to push. And their
Hmm.
advantage is like in the VC, no one beats us on VC. Like we like are the masters of that. But VCs will only fund things that are fundable and like there is a return. Like you can't solve like a country's problems, even though it would be very valuable for the country when there's no like returns. But China can. Like they can actually go,
Hmm.
you know what, let's raise the poverty rate by this much. Like that can actually be a project that is fundable.
Hmm.
Yeah, so then it goes to like the smaller cities and then depending on how they use their capital and they partner with private companies. So it's very similar to like the VC system, except that they can fund crazy projects.
And it seems to just work. Like
Yeah.
the thing is with, and I've never been to China, so like I can't really speak from experience. But have you ever been?
Yeah, twice, but it's been a while. Me and my wife we're gonna go like later this year to see this.
Okay,
Because
cool.
dude,
Yeah, I
I
would
can't
love
tell
to
what's
go to
real.
Shenzhen.
I gotta go find out.
Yeah,
I'll let
and
you know.
like I've heard a lot of cool things, and I have a friend actually. It's funny, he's Irish,
Mhm.
um, and he loves China. It's his favorite country in the world.
Really?
He's been
Oh
to
man.
China like 10 times. He's never been to North America.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's so the thing is, it's like it's so futuristic, and they're very good at it. But it's not necessarily because of like it's one thing to say, okay, we're centralized, and so the party says, build this massive bridge, and
Mm-hmm.
do it in a year.
Mm-hmm.
Like just saying that doesn't make it happen, and just telling people, even threatening people or whatever, I don't know if that's a thing, or like incentivizing, like
Mm-hmm.
there's always like there's this there's 100 people along the path to making that first kind of like shovel in the ground, and there's so many ways it could just go wrong, but it doesn't really seem to. So I find like it's almost not enough to understand their story of like there's the centralization, or like what you just described with the VC
Mm-hmm.
model. Um, it seems like there's just this like very strong sense of alignment in doing it well and doing a good job, and like no bullshit, no corruption, or
Yeah.
keeping that stuff like you know manageable, but like actually making the work happen seems to be what they've just found a way to make that really work, especially for infrastructure.
Now you touched on like another like a really deep topic because the like if a model works, right? People nowadays are smart. Information flows, so people would just
Hmm.
copy it. So
Hmm.
some nations actually tried to copy that model, but they found out like there's the foundation for it doesn't work.
Hmm.
Um, I know like a very some really good examples, right? Like if you look at Japan, they can get away with like creating stores without anyone there, where the cash is just open because they already built this high trust society.
Yeah,
High trust society, like it takes a lot of work to put that in place, and if you don't have
yeah,
that, you
could
can't have
take
all.
decades.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it's cultural, and culture
yeah,
takes forever to build. And so
yeah,
their foundation is insane, right? It's like the high focus on engineering, right? I'm biased, like we're engineers, right? So
yeah.
they had this a focus on engineering, like truth finding, just like that along. So when certain like initiatives or requirements for that foundation, it, there's no shortage of it. They have that in place.
And like, so yeah, so it's interesting because that is something that I feel like at some point the US maybe had or the West had, and now
Mhm.
not as much. Like there's too much bureaucracy in building things,
Yeah.
and trying to remove that is like, I find that really interesting because one idea that I've had, and it's like I would love to build it, but I would hate to build it, is like an AI that seeks bureaucracy within
Mhm.
a system and just calls it out or eliminates it or, you know, surfaces inefficiencies within like a complex system. And
Mhm.
I feel like that is something where AI could come in handy and do it in a way where it unlocks like human potential and be like, oh, like you guys are talking about this and this team is going to do that, and you, like there's going to be conflict, so let's like resolve it ahead of time, stuff like that. um, I do see like a future where there are these like kind of permanently running agents finding stuff
Mhm.
like that and doing stuff like that, but since we're not there yet, like
Mhm.
there's stuff to be built. There's stuff to be built to get us to this point where
Yeah.
these soft problems aren't so bad.
No, I love that idea actually. I am a fan of like Elon Musk, and
Me
you know
too.
his like five principles. Like it's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
eliminate, right? Like, is it needed? Like, just even that, just having that, like, as an agent, right? Scouring every open meeting on the company's calendars, just like, just to remind people, like, wait, right? Is this needed?
yeah, yeah. I mean, that would be like the ultimate,
Yeah.
the ultimate product where it keeps track of every single person's. I mean, it would also be relatively authoritarian and oppressive. It may feel like, but like maybe not. I don't know. But like, if it's keeping track of everyone in the company's calendar and keeping track of every meeting and every day of work output, like imagine the tapestry of information that it could weave, and like it would be like a really really good TPM where it's like it's
Yeah.
seeing inefficiencies, it's seeing blockers, it's seeing
Mm.
good dependencies, bad dependencies, and so like
Mm.
being able to manage that stuff. So I feel like, let's say, let's kind of push this to
Mhm.
the edge. Let's say that system exists, and now like a company, it's like an app that you download, and
Mhm.
it's like Slack and
Mhm.
Teams and all of this on steroids. Like, what does that unlock for a
Mhm.
team of 5 people who want to build and solve these hard problems that we were talking about?
I think the
How do you think
value,
that looks?
the one interesting thing and why I like really love this AI era, it's that inefficiencies in large companies is getting attacked on both ends. Like one is like the tooling is getting better to help just teams be aware of things that they should, and just reminders, right? Like reminders of like whether the approach that's being taken is the best. And the other one is teams are just getting smaller because they can do so much more. Yeah, so I love seeing like just the fat being trimmed like from just like multiple ways. Uh,
Hmm.
but when you look at that tool, it's still very useful for a small team. Right? It's like because like let me think about that. I guess like when you hit 25 people, right? When there are multiple projects that are going on, the benefit of focusing is still there, but then the communication lag would be costly, and these tools would close that cost. So yeah,
Mm.
even for like a really small team, 25 I consider still super small. It will still be very valuable.
Yeah. Yeah, something like that. I feel like we will get that version of things, and I feel like it may even be met with some friction because people are very used to working in the modern context. It sort of has developed its own culture. You know, it's like a very
Yeah.
specific form of work. I feel like AI is just like really turning it on its head for most people. What are some really what?
I'm gonna sound like a dick for this one. I think those companies will die. Like you either
Okay,
adapt or you die. Because like the
right.
it's equivalent to not like using AI and not being AI native. It's equivalent to like not using computers when they're readily available.
Yeah.
And like this adoption curve is so much faster than computers because AI itself is helping people use AI. So it's like if you have like cultural things against it, if you're not open to using it, right? And the surprising thing is like initially there were a lot of people that didn't want to use AI, and they were normally like the best of the best because AI couldn't do what they needed. The bar that AI set was too low. But as AI gets better, like these people are converting, and I'm very sure like
Mm,
everyone's gonna convert. What's left
yeah,
over are the ones who are just like hard headed. Like if
yeah,
there's so much evidence that it's amazing, it will help you do whatever your job is better. Yeah, it's like so only like the hard-headed ones are still resisting it, and that's not a good place to be. Like
yeah.
especially when the road is progressing so fast.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. I know two engineers that really hate it, and they're very, very talented engineers.
Yeah.
But seeing the way they talk about it is very revealing because it's like, oh, I asked it to do something and it made a mistake. And it's like it's like it built 99% of it, but it made a mistake, so I'm not going to use it at all. It's a
What?
very yeah, and I've seen that in both of them said variations of that exact thing where they're like, or it's like, oh, like the quality of the code it outputted was like not good enough, and it's like, really? Because I'm pretty sure it's like pretty decent quality, and if you're doing it, especially if you're scoping down to the right size. Um,
That exact that's right there.
yeah,
That's
and
it.
you have to be like right sizing it. If you're like, okay, build me an app, and you're like, oh, this is not how I would build it, that's kind of on you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you
It's
have the ability to tell the machine. And yeah, so I just find it like I find this topic so interesting because we a lot of what we've talked about in the past is like process and strategy
Mhm.
and orchestration, and AI just like really turns this stuff on its head. Like the
Yeah.
concept of being able to be prompting like all day long, and
Mhm.
how that reduces the cost of certain kinds of work, but then
Mhm.
overloads you with other kinds of work, which is mostly strategy and
Mhm.
direction, and like your ability to, let's say, start the day in one place and end the day like vastly kind of far down the road,
Mhm.
is still very much up to you, the human. So
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on that and how to like navigate that?
So strategy to me is like something very specific. I think we talked about this before, right? I'm a huge
Yeah,
fan of that book, Good Strategy, Bad Strategy.
yeah,
So it's
yeah.
like it needs to communicate like direction, trade-offs, and urgency, right? So like so strategy is like super specific, and you're right that how important it is now because with AI you can do so much more, but you can do so much more in the completely wrong direction. Like and
Hmm.
it's that's just creating mistakes faster. Right? So without strategy, without having a clear idea of like what you're trying to hit, having experiments on whether the movements you're doing is producing like the results that you're expecting, without those checks, right?
Mm.
It's dangerous.
Hmm. And
So yeah,
especially when it
AI.
is like, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, like just to close that off, like AI will definitely help you work faster, but faster in the wrong direction is not useful.
Yes,
You
and
can
it's such
experiment
a
faster. It is
sycophant.
very useful. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's such a sycophant that it doesn't know when it's telling you the wrong thing. It'll
Yeah.
never say, "Oh, actually, maybe I gave you wrong advice." And
Mhm.
I've been like a victim of that myself, where it's like really telling me to do something in a really specific way, and I've spent like 2 or 3 days doing it in that way, and then I discover a better way, and I'm like, how come you gave me the wrong advice? What the fuck? But I mean, and then I think about it, and I'm like, I mean, that's just coding, right? Like 4 or 5 years ago, that would have been me wrestling with like CocoaPods or something, or like iOS, build great like just random stuff, um,
Yeah.
like deep in the technical weeds and getting an app to build. But now it's like getting the right strategy output or
Mhm.
the right directional output from the LLM. And so, yeah, I find that really interesting.
Yeah, like you touched on like something I really like love about AI, like because your strategy you won't really know until you implement it. Same with architecture. You can have an architecture for your app, but until you start building, you won't really know if it's right or not. Like you discover along the way, it gets refined.
Hmm.
So with AI, like it builds so quickly. You go, wait, that feels wrong, and you find out so quick. And with AI, you can rewrite it very just as quickly. You don't have the same constraints as, you know what, like we have to deliver. We already spent 3 months on this. This architecture sucks, but we have to deliver, and then we have to accrue that. That never gets paid because there's always new initiatives. But with AI, it's like, no, you can feel that it's wrong fast. You can correct it just as
Hmm.
quickly. Yeah, so it's so powerful. Like just from like that singular thing, like
Yeah,
you can POC quickly, experiment with architecture quickly. You can discover quickly with AI.
yeah. And there's this really amazing quote that someone actually in my
Mm,
last interview said, which is like, if you knew that if you failed 20 times, on
mm,
the 21st time you would succeed, how
mm.
quickly would you want to fail?
Beautiful.
You know? And
Yeah.
so it's like AI does help us get there. It helps us like move so much faster. And if you're moving faster, you can also fail faster. It
Yeah.
has different traps, let's say, compared to like regular, develop like startup building or product development or whatever your lane is. The traps are very different, and so it's interesting because we're kind of discovering them as we go. Like especially the people like us that are kind
Mm,
of on the forefront. Like I embraced AI coding
yeah.
100% this year, and I
Mm,
I build apps fully as much as I can with Claude and with Cursor and everything. So I think being able um, to kind of go with that, like be on the edge of the technology and see
mm,
like what the new kind of problems and issues are with it,
mm.
is very, very helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's like
Um,
one of the.
oh,
Oh, go
sorry.
ahead.
Go ahead.
I was saying it's like there are new problems. The flavor's
Yeah.
different, but surprisingly, it's like because so engineering management, right? Engineering leadership,
Yeah.
managing people and managing AI agents, like it's so there's so many overlap. Like you, the a majority of the energy is creating an environment where the entity can perform really well, and the requirements are so similar. You need to give it on the onboarding has to be thought out. So you need to give it the information that it
Hmm.
needs to perform, right? It needs clear goals, and it needs guidance and support and communication, easy communication channels to kind of like flag when that support is needed. So like, so like right there, like, was I talking about managing a human team or managing AI agents? It's like it's so similar.
Okay, that's really interesting. That's really interesting because you do have a lot of experience like
Mhm.
managing people in that way
Yeah.
and managing like groups of people. So hearing your experience of managing agents, and
Mhm.
it is true. It's like the exact same thing, and we
Yeah.
all sort of become managers.
Yeah.
How do
Pretty
you
much.
feel like it has like interrupted the engineering management culture? Like, if you're
Mhm.
managing a team of 5 devs or like a squad of, a feature
Mhm.
squad, and everyone is AI first, like, what does that
Mhm.
actually mean for you and their interactions? And like, are you monitoring that they're using the tools effectively? Do you trust them to use
Mhm.
the tools effectively? Are you monitoring for direction, for output? Like, how has that changed?
So this one's like the uh, for transparency. That's what I want to find out. Like, how does that look like? I've read about just companies that are AI first, and it sounds like a dream. Right? It's like so it does have to be completely bought in. Like I'll give you a very scoped example. Your repos have to be designed for AI agents as much as it is for humans. The updates to it, the workflows around it, all has to be AI first. That has to be bought in entirely. It's very hard where it's like some people just want to dabble with it. It's perfectly fine to dabble. You have to start dabbling, but to get that the full unlock, the whole thing has to be AI native.
Hmm.
Bringing it into an org is very interesting because everyone wants to do it, but it's very similar to any other initiative where you need like these big overhauls. You need to have complete commitment to it. It's why like the companies that are new and just made themselves. It's easier when you're smaller. AI native first, they can do that pivot just so much easier
Hmm.
because there's so many things that are already baked in the way mindsets of people, especially first of all. And beyond that, it's like the processes are already designed for not AI, right? So like those things are hard to dismantle. That is probably why we see so many C-levels announcing very like loudly and broadly to everyone that, hey, you know what, like we are an AI first company. I suspect they're actually telling their internal team more than like making a broad announcement to the public, because people need to know that like if there's ever a discussion, no, the CEO said this already. We are an AI first company. So if there's ever like some friction on whether we should work a certain way that actually aligns with this future of working, they already have the support of the CEO, and I think that's what's needed to like really be leverage everything that AI is bringing to the table. Oh, I can't hear your audio for some reason. Still no.
And now,
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
okay, strange. But Toby is a great example of this from
Yeah.
Shopify, right? Where he was just like, we are AI first, we are aggressively AI. And I'm seeing it in a lot of companies on LinkedIn. It's interesting that I've followed for like years or now. It like talking about it in a very public way. And but what's so crazy about that is like there's no real known edge to what that actually looks like. Like some person's version of AI is like, I have agents writing prompts to feed into Claude Code, and I have 8 of these running, and I have, a separate server running 50 of these, and I check in, and like one is writing the tests, and the other is doing this. And another person is just like coding the old-fashioned way, but just using cursor, and the jury is out on which of those two is faster. And
Yeah.
OpenAI, like you can go to their careers page, they're hiring software engineers, and Cursor is hiring software engineers, and Lovable. So
Yeah.
there is still like a need for engineering, and even like let's say Cluely is a really interesting case study, because with Cluely, it's like you have someone, this like young kid, he's 21. He intuitively understands the old paradigm is broken, so he built Interview Coder, and it made people go crazy because it's like, oh, you can't do that, but it's like the technology is there, like you can do that, and so like he did it. But if you follow what Cluely is dealing with now, they pivoted from that to an AI note taker and like a meeting note taker, and it shows that it's like there is no real like you have to have the right direction, and it's not enough to like know that like there's a change. Like there's still market forces which dictate certain things, and maybe Cluely would have done better if maybe like Roy Lee would have done better if he had not raised money and just kept it as like sort of indie hacker style. But at trying to like grow into a market for something like that, there's still like they had to pivot, like it wasn't enough. And so there's always like, I feel like the market it's like gravity, it's like a force of nature that just exists, that will always dictate the good ideas and the bad ideas, and the temporarily good ideas. But like it's not enough to be extremely well, and he's also like very, very talented at virality and storytelling and narrative. None of that was enough. It became an AI note taker. that's like the graveyard of ideas.
It's the opposite of what he stood for.
Yeah, it's so funny.
I love.
It's
I was so like excited about the Cluey story. I saw it as like the future generation, right? It's like even the videos, the mindset. It was so aligned with like I don't use TikTok because I'm too old, but it's the TikTok generation. I mean, you have to recognize how powerful TikTok is, and like there's a lot of like
100%.
creativity there. So they were like that generation. They should uh, like when you're doing something so different and so out there, right? So unique, you gotta keep on pushing forward. Like you're gonna run into all, but they couldn't. They took too much funding.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were at the
Yeah.
edge. Their cultural was sharp, their technology was sharp. They were riding off that. But as soon as you try to like uh, make market returns, that technology curve, cultural curve is so much steeper than like the adoption curve of technology, right? And that's where business is. So
Yeah.
like if no one's ready for it, like you're not gonna sell. But like you
Yeah.
shouldn't be selling to these people. Focus on the future. But they
Yeah.
couldn't. Like it's like over 100 million, right? It's like people
Is that how
want.
much? I didn't realize they'd taken that much.
Yeah, I forgot how much the total funding was, but it was big.
That's funny.
Should have snooped that
Yeah. Jamie, can you pull up the funding? Cluely has raised. Okay, so they
up.
raised
15,
20
15.
million, and then oh, you got 15. Okay, I have
Yeah.
15 on a Series A, and then
Uh,
a seed round of five. And yeah, I mean, I think for what they were building, that's too much money, right? Like,
yeah.
what do you need all that money for that? And if you are planning on building like a true like interface between like your computer and you as a person, and like you're trying to make your interface like really really new and extremely fast and all of this to like do the things you're doing on your computer, that's an interesting problem to solve. Like you're trying to say what is the future like UX, you know, it's not text, it's not GUI, it's not voice, maybe it's all of this. um, like push that vision, like you're there to push
Yeah.
that vision. But I can't really knock them. Like they were able to do some really cool
Amazing.
things. I,
Yeah.
I I think they still have money, so they can like still try and experiment and do stuff. But I hope to see. I don't think this is going to be Roy's final form
No, no,
personally.
far
Like
from that.
I think I think Cluley will probably wind down and he'll be like, okay, like I learned a thing or two, and then he'll have another idea with like like I think he's still connected to that first
Yeah.
like moment with interview coder. It's like the same thread, but I think
Mhm.
there'll be a time when it's like done, and he'll have a brand new idea, and it'll be different, and then that'll be like extremely cool.
Yeah. That's what people are suspecting. Like all the like A16Z, right? I don't know who else funded them. They're just buying rights to fund his second company.
Yeah, that's basically what they're doing with like
Smart.
they're
Yeah.
investing like crazy right now, and they are very very loud and active. I feel like more so than they've ever been this
Yeah.
year, and I think they're going for a bit of like a spray and pray approach of just investing in any interesting person who is somewhat agentic and has, you know, like some story to say. And that's fine. I mean, they have like the capital, they have a thesis, and I do think like pushing those people to like build something, it works, it doesn't work, but now those people have experience, and that's like you can't trade that experience for anything. Like it's extremely hard to get experience building a VC backed company in that environment, and with those, you know, the dependencies that come with it.
Yeah.
So it's a
And
really
like
really cool story.
seeing that it's actually like 20 million, like that's still a shit ton of money. But like I'm surprised they didn't guide them to just keep on being them. Like
Yeah,
fucking triple down on that shit. It was so
yeah,
amazing, so unique. Like you didn't see anything like it. Like what? Why? See how far that can go. Learn in that like direction as much as you can, because like we'll know how AI note takers are gonna play out. We have like a bunch of different examples. Like no matter
yeah.
how different that their flavor is, it's not gonna be as unique as if they just kept on running towards like what they were doing in the first place.
Yeah, I think like not chasing revenue, even just like
Yeah.
go purely R&D,
Yeah.
like see how far you can push the edge. I don't know if you remember the Cluely video, like the hype video
Mhm.
of him
Yeah,
sitting
these are
at for
great.
dinner. Like
Mhm.
that Cluely is a cool
Yeah.
product that I would want to
Mhm.
buy, and I would want to see a future that looks like
Yeah.
that. Um, so yeah, what other um,
Mhm.
areas are you feeling like most bullish about for the future that AI is going to unlock? Like we talked a bit about energy, housing.
Mhm.
Are there any like really big ideas that you want to see in the world?
Yeah. Let me see. I'll zoom all the way out because that's where like like the things I do now is kind of like connected to kind of the zoom out vision. Um, Like I love product engineering. I think it's like the most amazing thing. You meet the most amazing people. You get to work on fun problems. It's creative. It's producing. It's collaborative. It's open source. Like everything is right about it. I also think like product engineering, the way we know it, it's gonna be just like a regular job. It's not coveted anymore. The product managers and the engineers, they will still be coveted, but the work is very different than what we did like the last 10 years. Yeah, you see where all the big money's going. It's like for talent, right? It's all like AI,
Hmm.
AI, and like either building the models or putting the models into production, right? AI ops, AI engineering, and like ML engineering. Um, so then with that, like you keep on seeing like I love investing. I love the markets. So just seeing like the last 20 years, like a lot of the value was just like in the Mag 7, right? Like if there you see those charts where the Mag 7 is
Yeah.
all the growth and the rest of the S&P is just like flat.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be an equivalent in the next generation. So to summarize it, right? It's like uh, AI data centers and robotics factories. I think it's going to produce and capture most of the value.
Mm.
So I've been just focusing on that and just like the ecosystem needed to bring those two things in place.
Yeah, I agree, and I feel like it's very interesting watching the data center adjacent stocks sort of like
Yeah. Yeah.
go parabolic. I mean,
And then crash.
yeah, and then crash, and some of them haven't really crashed yet, but like you can kind of see a really like fortunes can be made right now just
Yeah.
on this macro of like they're going to build tons of data centers, and then surely because like LLMs are very inefficient right now,
Mm.
and every day it's being discovered that like really if you have, you know, like you could compress this model to give the same output, but you can compress it
Mhm.
like tenfold, 100-fold, probably 1,000-fold. We'll be able to compress these models. So we may be over producing like capacity, and then but then it's like okay, but now we have the capacity to do robotics, or now we have the capacity to do genomics and bioinformatics, and so that'll be extremely interesting.
Yeah, it's that whole Jevons paradox thing that's
Yes.
super like popular right now. Because when you look at like intelligence, right? Like you'll always need it. You always want more. And like using the immediate case, right? Like we have coding agents. We never want a dumber one ever, right? We'll always like at minimum pay for what we're already paying, and we'll probably pay for more as the value becomes more obvious when we pay for
Hmm.
more. But then it's like these things progress on their own, so they're getting crazy cheap, right? So then like if it gets so what's that term they use? Too cheap to meter, right? Then
Hmm.
dude, like people will be putting intelligence everywhere, right? In any product, because it's just having intelligence at the edge is very beneficial. Right?
Hmm.
Then you start going into the hardware space, like, well, how do you make that performant, right? And then that's when you start looking at like the chips, right? We had CPUs, and I went this on this like little dive where it's like I didn't realize like what's the advantage of like ASICs versus like generic GPUs, and an easier thing to focus on is like it's all about workloads. It's what can
Hmm.
process types of workloads better, right? It's like the GPU itself is designed to process a specific type of workload. Yeah, but then like ASICs are designed to like specific to process even more specific. Yeah, and then like you go down the rabbit hole of like the progression of all these like chips. Then like there's these new chips where I'm just taking us down this path for a bit. But
Yes,
dude,
cool.
these they call it like I think like analog chips, where it's sometimes it's memory based, sometimes it's photonic, but it process it has like attributes of quantum where it processes multiple paths at once.
Yeah.
It's crazy exciting, and all this stuff like we're gonna see like in our lifetime.
Yeah, it's super cool, and I do think we're going to. The future is not going to look like the past, and the idea of like like what you said, where like having that extremely high quality compute at the edge is going to make, you know, robotics. Like imagine a robotic. Let's imagine a humanoid, and like the finger, one finger on one hand has as much
Yeah.
computing power as, just like a
Yeah.
hundred of today's GPUs or
Yeah,
whatever. Just
we're gonna get there. It's crazy.
then, yeah, we're gonna get there, and it's gonna be totally insane to see. So, I think we're gonna wrap here, but I just want to say thank you so much for this chat. We covered
Yeah.
everything. We covered a lot of cool ground. Um,
Jump around. That's how we do
yeah, I really look forward to reading the transcript to this, and
it.
I'll share it with you, and we can
Yeah,
both
please.
have fun looking at it. And yeah, thank you for joining, and
Anytime,
um,
dude.
yeah, I look forward to our next conversation. I have a feeling this will not be our last conversation like this.
Always
So yeah,
enjoy
thank
it.
you for joining us at Speakeasy.
For sure. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Rick. Cheers.
Thanks.